stream going up. I need to turn that on, and there we go. Hello everyone, welcome back to Game 3 of Game is Hard versus Ayesee Slater in the Recreational Tournament. And right away, we see the Lycan banned for a third time in a row. Does not seem to be any team rotations. We have Game is Hard still on the Radiant. Ayesee Slater still in the Dire. We see the Faceless Void get banned as well. Not going to have any of that Chrono shenanigans this game. We also will likely see the Enigma ban because those have been some absolutely crazy black holes. Absolutely crazy. We will see though. Maybe one of them will first pick Enigma and opt not to ban. Be very interesting to see how this goes, as this is Game 3. Both games have been won pretty convincingly so far. The opening minutes always very tense, but then just some very convincing team fights have turned these games pretty one-sided pretty quickly. Oh, excuse me. Maybe chugging down that bottle of water just before this match was a bad idea. We will find out together, everyone. Ember Spirit gets banned by Ayesee Slater. Ember Spirit was an absolute monster that last game, in conjunction with the Black Hole from Enigma. When you have a bunch of characters locked in place for a character that does a bunch of AoE damage like Ember Spirit does, it's going to be a bad time. So they get rid of him, and immediately Ayesee Slater takes the Enigma. So we are going to see them trying to pull the exact same stuff we saw in Game 1 and the exact same stuff we saw in Game 2. The Brewmaster gets banned this time, and Brewmaster has been an issue in every game, so not surprised to see him banned, and again, not surprised to see the Enigma get picked up almost, well, it was immediately. It was the very first pick of the game.
10 seconds.
GG. GG. We will see what the picks end up being if they go back to the Tidehunter then, since they can't grab the Enigma, or if they will pick a different initiating character, or if they will opt for just an entirely different build. So far, we have seen builds centered solely around team fights. We have not seen a build that is specifically push-heavy, so maybe we will see something like that come out of this last game. And we're going to see the Rubik. They grabbed the Rubik before he can get banned, so what's going to happen here is Rubik is going to stand back during these fights. It was my microphone that disconnected. Thank you, computer, for disconnecting my microphone while I'm casting. Anyways, I was only saying that what we're going to see is the Rubik is going to be stealing the black hole. I just got silenced in real life. Silencer just used his global on me. We'll see the Rubik pick up the black hole as soon as it's used every team fight, and likely just counter the black hole with a black hole. And because black hole is a channeled spell, as soon as you interrupt it, it will stop. So this will be very interesting to see these team fights. The team fights are going to be very important. This Rubik has to be on top of his game. We see the Darkseer pick up for Game is Hard, which again with the vacuums, the wall was very good the first time around. Then we see the Viper pick up for the Dire side. Viper just has absolutely devastating right clicks. We saw that the first game. Tidehunter gets banned, so they're trying to eliminate as much initiation as possible here. Tidehunter, a very good ban for them. Again, if Enigma gets stunned out of the black hole, it shuts the black hole off. So he really he wants characters that are going to do that gone. So we got rid of the Tidehunter. There will be no counter initiation from the Tidehunter, but we still have to look out for this Rubik. It'll be very, very important for this Rubik to be on the top of his game. Nature's Prophet gets banned, just generally a very good character again. Very good at pushing lanes, very good at teleporting around the map, being where he needs to be at the right moment to get a kill, to do a push, to mop up whatever needs to be mopped up. And we will see the fourth bands now come out from the Dire and the Radiant. Again, gonna probably see more bands centered around what the Radiant seem to be building towards. So the Dire's gonna want to get rid of initiating large characters like the Doom. A very good pick again. If you have a Doomed Enigma, Doom also, the ability Doom acts also as a silence. Not only does it deal damage over time, but it shuts down your ability to use any of your skills. And the fourth band coming up from the Radiant, it's hard to say what the Dire are specifically going to build towards. I mean, they will want to get some more AoE, likely to synergize with the Black Hole. They banned the Death Prophet, which is probably a good ban. Death Prophet can be an absolute pain in the butt. The Ghost ultimate ability is very good, and of course that Silence that lasts for several seconds and is an AoE, can hit multiple people. Now we will see the third picks coming out here. I'm very curious to see how Game is Hard is going to do this, because they're going to be banking a lot on this Rubik, and they're really going to need something to counter these team fights that the Dire side is going to be wanting to initiate. I wouldn't be surprised to see some characters, maybe like Silencer, maybe even an Omni Knight, someone that can really just shut down these team fights very quickly. And we see a Wraith King pick up, so Wraith King is very good. I mean, his ultimate resurrects him if he has mana, which is amazing. He has that stun, he has the lifesteal aura, and he has a cleave built in. And we see the Shadow Shaman pick up, so we have a bunch of lockdown coming from the Shackle, from the Hex, and then of course his ability to push towers with the... what is his... I call them the snakes, Mass Serpent Wards. We just call them snakes, but Mass Serpent Wards, so Mass Serpent Wards can push down towers like crazy. And of course, they can also be dropped in the middle of a team fight. And left unchecked, those Mass Serpent Wards will dish out quite a bit of damage. And then of course he has Ether Shock, which is a multi-targeted... it's a pretty hefty nuke in the early game, but that damage, that 320 damage, will fall off as the game goes on. However, an 8-second cooldown, that's a lot of Ether Shocks going off. So here's the initiate. Here's what we're really looking at. We have the Sand King now with Burrow Strike, and Wraith King, if he builds Blink Dagger, Blink Stun, we could see the Burrow Strike, we could see the Blink into the, whatever his ultimate is called, Tremors, Epicenter. That's the one. Tremors is a movie, Epicenter is the skill. So that is likely what we're going to see for the initiate. And then, of course, again, Rubik, he can steal that Black Hole, he can counter-initiate with that, he can steal the Serpent Wards, he can counter-push with that. He could steal Viper's ultimate ability if he wanted, but I don't think that's a real priority for him. The Juggernaut pickup, this is very interesting now. So we have the Juggernaut. What's going to happen here is when the Black Hole lands, Juggernaut's going to activate his spin to win, as I call it, his Blade Fury. He can spin through that, or if he has the Cleave, if he has his Battle Fury, he can just jump in with his Omni Slash. Even if he doesn't have it, he doesn't need the Cleave. He can jump in with his Omni Slash, but if he gets that, he's gonna Kevin Bacon it up, yes. If he jumps in with the Omni Slash while everyone is in a Black Hole, that's a bad time. That's a bad time. However, Rubik can take the Omni Slash. Obviously, Rubik can't make as much use of it. This game can be watched in client, but because this isn't like a special tournament game, it is a little harder to find. But yeah, you can in fact watch it in client. Maybe someone in chat will be able to give you the details on how to do so. The final bans come out, so we see Silencer get banned, which is a very good ban. Obviously, a Silencer for the Dire side would be devastating. Enigma can't do anything. Shadow Shaman can't do anything. Juggernaut could right-click, but he loses the ability to use his Blade Whirl or his Omni Slash. And we see the Outworld. Oh my goodness, I was like, Netherworld? No, that's not right. Outworld Devourer gets banned. So he's just very good. I mean, it's a lot of damage. He has his ultimate ability that he drops. Basically, a lot of people call it the hammer. He drops it down. Just does a ton of damage based off intelligence. He's got massive right-click damage. Has a lot of mana sustaining. His ability just has a ton of mana sustain, so he could just keep on keeping on with the mana.
10 seconds
So
remaining.
that is it for the bans. We will see the final picks here. So Storm Spirit. Oh, I'm so happy. Storm Spirit. Game is Hard is after my heart with the Storm Spirit pick. I absolutely love Storm Spirit. Very good at just being where he needs to be. He can zip, zap, zoop all across the map. And we see the Warlock. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be some more hashtag big plays going on. Rektreational, making up hero names and abilities as we go. Thank you very much. But this will be a very interesting team fight for the Dire side. We have the Warlock AoE stun with the Demon. We have the Black Hole. We have the right clicks coming from Viper. We have the right clicks and the Omni Slash coming from Juggernaut. And we have Shadow Shaman who will be dropping wards, doing whatever he can. But let's not discount that Game is Hard has a very interesting lineup. It's not quite as team fight oriented, but they still have a very strong lineup. They have the Rubik, which they could steal, and honestly, there are a lot of ultimates on the enemy team that are worth stealing, so that's a very good pickup for them. They have the Wraith King and the Sand King, who can just initiate with the Burrow Strike, with the Blink into the stuns, or he could just walk up because he's a giant Wraith King and just stun them that way. And then, of course, they have the Storm Spirit, who can zip across the map and tether someone using the Electric Vortex, get some damage, lock one person in place. And then finally, the Darkseer, who we saw last game, can utilize the Vortex, can utilize his wall, the Wall of Replica, to create illusions and deal some damage through those means. It looks like Game is Hard is just opting... A little bit of trash talk coming out between the teams over the banned Ember Spirit. But it looks like Game is Hard is just going to go straight to their lanes. We're not going to see any business coming out from them. They're going to go straight into the laning phase. It looks like Ayesee Slater on the Dire side, their team is going to do the same thing. We have a ward thrown down here. We don't see any early aggression like we did from Game 2. They're just going to go straight into the lanes. Let me grab my keyboard now. And real quick, I will throw up the net worth so we can keep an eye on that as the game goes on. Juggernaut already jumping ahead. He's at 668 and climbing. So rich in this early game, clearly. This is already GG. We do have the tri-lane bottom, though. This is a pretty aggressive tri-lane. We have the stun from the Wraith King. We have the stun from the Sand King. And, of course, we have the Rubik lift ability, the telekinesis. That is 3 disables in the early game. If this Juggernaut overextends himself, that will be 1 dead Juggernaut. Now, the one good thing for Juggernaut in this situation is Blade Fury makes it so he can't take magical damage. So if they initiate on him, he can Blade Fury to get away. But, to be completely honest, if he overextends far enough, they could just chase him down, wait till the Blade Fury ends, and then continue the initiation. We see Warlock dealing a little bit of early damage to the Storm Spirit. However, he still has plenty of tangos, but I mean, any chip damage is good damage. He's already had to use 1 tango. He will be forced to use a 2nd tango. We have Mr. Ayesee back on the Enigma, and this was Mr. Big Plays from Game 1, so maybe this will be Ayesee, hashtag Ayesee Big Plays Game 3. We will see how it goes. Game is Hard is not going to let this go easy. They put up a very good fight in Game 2 and just absolutely crushed it. So Game 3... sustain himself by grabbing that soul ring, of which we already see the recipe in his inventory. And he's just going to keep that sustain going with the Ion Shell. That is going to be his way of farming this top lane. And that's a good way, because you don't want to try to fight the Viper. Viper is going to be absolutely annoying to fight. We see Juggernaut looking, Sand King just looking to see if he could do something, but Juggernaut is not going to overextend himself. He knows to play this extremely safe. He just needs to get to level 6 so he can get his Omni Slash. You know what, if you miss out on a little bit of gold early game, it sucks, it definitely does, but it's better than dying. And he will be able to get a little bit of farm here as the creeps get pushed up closer to his tower. Middle lane, we do have the Illusion Rune activated on the Warlock. He is going to push that back. Oh, look at that little courier. Isn't that fella adorable? We do have the Illusions pushing up a little bit. Are we going to see a little bit of chip damage? This Storm Spirit, unfortunately, having a bad time thanks to that ability of Warlocks. Oh, we have the tether on the Warlock. I don't think it's not going to amount to anything. It's not long enough currently. I need to see what that ability is called. Is it Shadow Word? No, that's not it. Fatal Bonds. That's the Fatal Bonds ability that keeps damaging Storm Spirit. It links several enemies to several targets together, so that is why Storm Spirit keeps getting damaged, even when he's not the one taking the direct damage himself. We saw that Juggernaut, he overextended for just a brief second, did get punished for it, was able to survive, is going to use some tangles. You can see he actually had tangles given to him by his ally so that he could save a little bit of money. Yes, much ew to the Viper. Again, the Storm Spirit, he got the Fatal Bonds activated on him, then used the, what is it? Man, I just am not up on my Warlock info. Shadow Word, used the Shadow Word to even damage him further. Already emptied the bottle, so he's going to have to walk the base. Storm Spirit not having the best beginning of this match. And we see Darkseer just doing his thing up here, using the Iron Shell, pop to Clarity to get some mana back. Hopefully, obviously, he does not want to be hit. That would be very bad for him and his mana. However, he does have the Soul Ring, and he's got plenty of ways to heal. We have Enigma in the jungle, doing his jungling thing, and for once, he is not at the top of the net worth. Wraith King actually at the top, sitting at a comfortable 1,700 and climbing. We can see Wraith King, due to pushing Juggernaut out of the lane, Wraith King has just been free farming, has his boots already, has a just a plain stealth shield, a couple tangles still kicking around. And we do have some action going on mid here. They look like they tried to go on this Warlock, but Warlock is playing pretty safe. He's not leaving his tower. He is a mage. He knows that he can't win in a straight-up fight, especially not until he's level 6. So he's just staying close to the tower, and the gank, other than draining some health and mana, ends up failing. And we do see we have this aggressive ward from the Dire down here, so this gives Juggernaut a little bit of vision. In case he decides to push up a little further, he will have vision of the jungle of the Radiant, so he can see if someone is about to get him. However, that hasn't proved to be an issue, as the tri-lane from the Radiant has kept Juggernaut pushed pretty close to his tower this entire match. Storm Spirit still doing his thing mid, trying to get as much farm as he can. Now that that Warlock has stepped away, even for a brief moment, we can see Warlock just going to base just because he was simply tapped out. Grabs a smoke, fills up the bottle, he smokes and TP's bottom. We will see what comes of this. For those that do not know, TP does not break the smoke. As you can see, he was able to smoke and come down here. They're looking to try to get a hit kill. Juggernaut is not level 6 yet. He cannot Omni Slash, but still his Blade Fury. Did I call that Blade Whirl earlier? Because I think I did, and that was not right. That was not right, but it won't matter. Warlock is just going to rotate back mid as he was not able to do anything. We do have some damage coming off. Warlock decides to burn the ultimate. He's had enough of Rubik's shenanigans. He goes on Rubik, doesn't get the kill, decides to go on Storm Spirit. I highly doubt he's going to get the kill here either. Probably did not need to burn his ultimate for that, but he might be able to use it to push the lane. I believe the demon lasts for a minute. I think it's a minute. It's 60 seconds. So that will be 60 seconds. He has this demon companion, and the demon is quite powerful. You can see it does 75 damage, and it also has a burn effect, very similar to the item called Radiance. So we might see mid-tower go down. You can see Enigma rotated in. They're going to try to get this tower down. Storm Spirit, the only one here to defend it currently, and Storm Spirit's not going to be enough to stop the demon, plus these heroes. However, Enigma taking a lot of tower damage, gets dropped to half very quickly. Tower still gonna go, not gonna go down. In fact, they've run out of creeps, and they've run out of demon power, and Enigma ran out of Eidolon. So the tower gets chipped down below half, but it does not fall. Trying to get any farm he can. Does finish his phase boots. see building towards possibly a Strength Bracer. And he does now have Omni Slash, so he can, if in the right situation, in a 1v1 situation, he can Omni Slash. Level 1 Omni Slash doesn't necessarily guarantee you a kill, but it is a huge chunk of damage you will take out of the target. And then this whole time, Darkseer's just been up here doing his thing, getting the Ion Shell damage done to the creeps, getting that gold, getting all that precious, precious farm. And unfortunately, hasn't really done much tower damage. I suspect he's not trying to. Viper being able to clean up this, and they're kind of just farming. There's really no other way to say this. Like, they're just farming right now. This is a very passive game. We're 8 minutes in. We haven't really seen a whole lot of action. A couple attempted ganks. Nothing has panned out. We see Enigma back in the jungle working towards, I'm assuming, a mech. That would be the only reason I could see buying those 2 items back to back. Warlock rotating down, throws, what? He just kind of went down there to take a peek. Maybe checking for rune, I'm not entirely sure. Does not see it. Either way, his bottle is empty. He has the point booster. Might be going straight for the Ognim Scepter, which does boost his ultimate quite well. And we do see a little bit of damage being done to the middle tower. And we see that Rubik is sitting here in middle. Hopefully, for him, trying to steal that ultimate from the Warlock. Bottom lane, they're just kind of doing the same thing. Again, this is an amazing game of farm right now. This is an amazing farming game. Dota 2 Farming Simulator is what we are watching as these two teams just kind of try to farm it up, and eventually one of them surely will try to jockey for position. I would suspect if anyone's going to initiate anything at this point in the game, it will be the Dire side. However, we have a stun come out. It hits the Juggernaut. It will damage him, but he has his healing ward. He will be able to heal that up. Interestingly enough, does not have Blade Dance. Opted to go for his healing ward first. That way he could sustain himself in lane for a little longer. This will limit his overall damage output in the early game. However, it will keep him alive. So arguably being alive is better than dealing a little extra damage from the crits. And we have a commitment of the Serpent Wards down bottom. It looks like this bottom tower will go down because of it. There are a bunch of Eidolons here. There are the Serpent Wards here. And that is 100% one dead tower. They did not decide to save it. Sand King and Wraith King opting to back off. We do have Rubik coming down here, but I don't think it's going to amount to anything now. It looks like the Dire side is going to pull back, and they are just going to likely go back to farming, is what's likely going to happen. We have a couple TPs mid to stop this mid push, but I don't think Storm Spirit was really going to commit anything more to that. He will back off. Now, we might see them just rotate. It looks like we have several of them, in fact. They've rotated mid, and it looks like they're going to work on this tower. They did just ping it for defense, the Radiant did. So they are going to come in to try to defend it. We have everyone here ready to go. We might finally see something happen here. Is that Juggernaut's healing ward? Very interesting. Very interesting healing ward right there. And they are not going to push it. Here we go. This is going to be the 5v5 that we have been waiting for. We have all ultimates, as I can see, are ready to go. Viper has now arrived. We have everyone just kind of dancing around, waiting for it. Storm Spirit zips in, and there's the Warlock ulti with a huge stun. There's the black hole. Unfortunately, it only catches Wraith King. Where is Rubik in all this? Rubik is dead because of the Juggernaut. Wraith King goes down once. His ultimate turns on. He walks away. There's the Shackle. And he goes down for a second time, and that time it is for keeps. The Wraith King is down and out, and that is the tower. Juggernaut did fall during all of that. I think to the Wraith King. Let me check. It was not. It was, in fact, to the Storm Spirit. But in the end, 2 for 1 and a tower goes down. And they are going to get some chip damage done to the tier 2 here. However, I suspect nothing more than just a bit of chip damage as they walk away from that victory. Now, that was a victory for them, but it's certainly not the game quite yet. We can still see Storm Spirit, Darkseer, and even Wraith King. They're doing quite well on the farm. If we look at the chart, it's only 1,500 XP, 3,000 gold. The gold is a result of the towers, more likely than anything. I don't think that team fight would have really swung the gold so heavily in their favor, but it's these towers that are going to do that. So nothing crazy out of control quite yet. Game is Hard is still in this. They definitely want to get some tower gold under their belt, though, so that they can compete financially with the Dire team. Juggernaut just taking some harass damage from that absolutely annoying Ion Shell. I'm sure many of you... Oh, we do have a pause. Looks like we have some connection issues again for the Game is Hard people. So hopefully we get this sorted out real quick. A tactical pause, tactical pizza pause is what we have right now. And there goes Storm Spirit as we wait for him to reconnect real quick. Hopefully this lag clears itself out. And the chat, the teams are keeping us entertained with their interesting chat as they trash talk one another during this brief pause. Storm Spirit is back, reconnecting right now. Hopefully the lag clears itself up. That is the second time he's had this issue. Hopefully his internet holds together, whatever the issue may be. And we are ready to go again. It is always nice when the pauses are brief. And there we go. Away we go. Game number 3 continuing on. And we can see we actually still have some good vision here coming out for the Dire. Both wards still clearly, or both runes clearly visible thanks to those wards. We have several of the Radiant up top right now. They're going to try to push down this tower. However, the Dire is also up here. And it looks like the Dire has no plans of stopping. Warlock's ultimate and Juggernaut, actually 3 ultimates, are offline currently. Warlock still has 43 seconds. Enigma's is at 70. So we won't see any huge ultimates come out unless they buy their time for a little bit. But it does look like they want to get in a position where they could take this tower down and possibly take another team fight. Excuse me. I assume we're just going to jockey for position here for a little bit. We do have all 5 for the Radiant are up here defending. All 5 for the Dire are up here. We have a couple of them in the jungle just trying to get a little bit of farm while they wait. Enigma wanting to get a little extra gold under his belt. Likely wants to get to that Blink Dagger as soon as he can so he can just blink in Black Hole. If we look real quick, who else has a Blink Dagger, if anyone? We do see the Blink Dagger on the Wraith King, so he can blink in, stun, or blink away to try to save himself, of course. But I'm assuming that is for the aggressive blink to the stun, which Wraith King is very, very good at doing. And here we go. We might finally see the push. Juggernaut's ulti is going to be paused as we wait again. And it looks like we're going to have to actually reset. He's going to restart his entire... Looks like we're going to have to wait while we reset the entire PC. It is going to take just a minute, hopefully. Hopefully it is not a wooden PC that needs to be crank started. And yes, if we actually take this moment to look real quick, we can see that Rubik's net worth is pretty bad. And if we actually click Rubik, he is only 5. He's close to 6. However, until he gets 6... there is only one R in my last name, Nick, but thank you for trying. Until he gets 6, we aren't going to really see that stealing from the enemy team. He really needs to get 6. He really needs to get... here, I'm going to open... There you go. You can watch the chat as it goes by. But once Rubik gets 6, that's when we're going to see the real action start, because he's going to steal the Black Holes. He's going to steal Warlock's ultimate as well. But at this rate, he's not going to get there very quickly. So he really just needs, Rubik just needs, 30 seconds of peace and quiet to get some farm and get to level 6. And we will be having much more interesting team fights. But until that point, it's just going to be Ayesee Slater's team. The Dire team is just going to have the advantage. Until Rubik hits 6, there's simply no other way around it. They're simply going to have that advantage with the Black Holes, with the Warlock stuns. Here we go. Storm Spirit is back. Hopefully we'll have this this lag, whatever connection issues, sorted out, and we will be able to go again. This would be an inopportune time for someone's internet to decide to give out on them. Looks like we're having the all clear. We will try this one more time, and away we go. And my mouse decides, nah, bro, you don't want to look at the game, you want to look at the trees. Here we go. They commit the wards to top. They are going to push this down. No, Storm Spirit is in middle. We have Rubik running up. Now, remember, Rubik, again, is not 6. And until he gets there, these team fights are not going to go well for the Radiant side. The tower falls. More gold in the pocket of the Dire team. We immediately see a TP bottom. Juggernaut he wants to go back to farming. It's as simple as that. He just wants to go back to his farming, try to get, potentially an Oghanim so his ulti can jump several more times. Not too sure what he's going to build towards next. He has no items to indicate as such. And we still have the wards up here, so hopefully no one walks by those. We do see a smoke come out. This would be a good time to smoke. I don't know if they have vision of a particular character that they are going for. They do have this ward here. They might be trying to get Viper. Viper is just literally standing still. There he goes. Decides to move. They're going to come in between the towers. I don't know what they're going to try to do here. This would be a bad time. They do get the Shadow Shaman, put the Hex to the Shackle. There's the Warlock ulti. Shaman does fall. They need to get out of here ASAP, though, as support comes in. Something did get stolen. What has Rubik got? Rubik has got nothing. Nothing good, as Rubik is dead. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Rubik tried stealing. He was dead by the time I clicked him. We have some people being chased up top. Juggernaut's coming in. He gets a free... Wow, that was bad. That was bad. Wraith King up here taking some damage. Down here we have Darkseer getting spun to death by the Juggernaut. I hear Wraith King's ultimate go off. Let's go back up here real quick. Wraith King is trying to walk this off, but just the fire damage coming out from this demon is chipping him down, and he eventually falls, and Darkseer manages to get away from the Juggernaut. But again, that team fight... Whew! That team fight did not go well. Storm Spirit, I don't know if that was a result of potential lag or just was not 100% in the game at that time, but that was a free kill, or a free kill for Juggernaut on the Storm Spirit. They're going to try to attempt Roche. Now, we saw this the first game where Enigma did Roche 10 minutes into the game by himself. This time he's got his team for support. Thanks to the Juggernaut ward healing them up, I assume they're going to be able to do this Roche with very little issues. It does not appear that the Radiant knows this is happening. They may suspect it, of course, but they have no real way of disrupting this team fight other than Rubik going in and stealing an ulti. But at this point, it's very unlikely that he would steal one of the useful ultis as other skills have been used. For those that do not know, Rubik's ultimate ability is to steal the last ability of the target. So, if Warlock uses his ultimate ability to call in the demon, then Rubik steals it, he will gain access to that ability. However, if Warlock uses Fatal Bonds immediately after using his ultimate, then Rubik doesn't steal it, he will steal Fatal Bonds instead. So it's very important that Rubik be on top of his game. And while I was saying that, the Roche does go down, although I did not suspect otherwise. They had that in the bag pretty easy. And if we look at the net worth, my favoriteest of charts, and we could see the net worth for Juggernaut, Viper, and Warlock is very high, doing very well. Darkseer and Wraith King and Storm Spirit are trying to hold on, but we can see Sand King and Rubik not having a good time. Sand King has boots and a TP. He's trying to save up for Blink, I assume, which he's very, very close to. Rubik has boots and a single ward, so Rubik he's having a bad time. That's a Hex. We're going to see the Shackle. The ultimate goes off, and they get the kill on Darkseer, and that's a very good use of those skills. Darkseer has the ability to speed himself up just very fast. Where is it? Right there. Surge. He can run extremely fast, so had they not used the Hex into the Shackle, he likely would have gotten away. So that was very good to Hex, then Shackle, and then just use the Juggernaut ulti to secure the kill. And Juggernaut is doing very well. It looks like he is in fact going to build towards his Ognem Scepter, which increases the amount of jumps that his ultimate will do. So you can see it will go from 9 jumps to 12. It also sets the cooldown from 110 to 70 seconds. So basically, every 70 seconds, Juggernaut can find a single person. Unfortunately, we are going to have to use a different PC. It looks like Storm Spirit is just having a really rough time here with this game on his current computer. So we are going to switch to another computer. Excuse me 1 second while I just take the briefest of drinks here. Refreshing. Alright, so hopefully Storm Spirit will be able to get loaded into another PC very quickly. Other than that, I mean, we could take a look at these charts real quick. Mouse, why do you do these things? We can see that the Game is Paused logo, unfortunately, kind of obstructing the graph a bit, but we can see almost, 4,000 basically. We're at the 4,000 point for the XP earned in the Dyer's favor. And for gold earned, it's even higher. So the Dyer are sitting in a good position. Again, this game is not out of control yet. It is only 2-6. It is only 2-6. So there is still a chance for a strong comeback. And of course, if Rubik can steal... if he can get a black hole, if he could get the Warlock ultimate, I should just learn the ability. Is it Chaotic Offering? If Rubik can get Chaotic Offering, if he can get the black hole, then he can turn these team fights around and literally swing this back in their favor. But until such a moment happens, we're just going to see these team fights keep going in the Dyer's favor. Wraith King, Storm Spirit, Darkseer, they could try as they might, but they're just not in a position where they can really deal with that damage from the black hole and the Chaotic Offering. Now, of course, if we can see some BKBs come out, if Wraith King can get to the BKB, if I don't know if Storm Spirit will build towards that, or if he might, looks like he might be building towards, I would say, it probably either an Orchid or a Dagon. But the BKBs would give them that ability to block some of this damage, but I don't know. I don't know the position, what position they could take to really come out of this. Other than Rubik getting the good steal from the Enigma, from the Warlock. We really need to see Sand King get a good Burrow Strike to his Epicenter. Yes, Zero makes a good point in chat. Warlock and even Enigma, they're making sure that when they use their abilities, they use one of their lesser abilities before Rubik can really do anything. It's a little harder with Black Hole. Obviously, Black Hole is a channel, so while you're channeling it, that's an excellent opportunity for Rubik to come along and steal it from you. Warlock's, however, is not a channel, so he can cast it, then instantly cast Fatal Bonds, and make it so that you cannot steal his ultimate. I wish the pause screen had more flair. I wish the pause screen had a little more flair as well. Let's just click some things here. Let's look at some charts while we wait. So, last hits denies, we can actually see, when it comes to the last hitting game, the Radiant is on top with Darkseer. Excuse me. With Darkseer on top with that 70, likely because of the Ion Shell. And then at the bottom, Rubik, he's just not having... Maybe there will be one of these charts where Rubik isn't the bottom. We can see Juggernaut leading with kills with Warlock and Viper close behind. And hopefully, for the Radiant side, we will see the Storm Spirit and the Wraith King start climbing there. But right now, that is where it sits. Darkseer and Juggernaut tied for level 11 currently. Storm Spirit not that far behind. Again, though, the same issue keeps arising for the Radiant as we see that the Rubik and the Sand King are bringing up the bottom of these charts every time. Not a good position to be in. XP per minute. We can actually see Juggernaut is leading the XP per minute quite well. Darkseer, again, not that far behind, and that's all because of this Ion Shell. It really is. It really is. You know who I mean. Basically, what this is coming down to, and it was said very well in chat, is that we have a team of single-target heroes versus a team of AoE heroes. And a lot of it, as I've said before, a lot of it rides on Rubik's ability to steal ultimates from the Dire team. However, until such a point happens, we have a lot of 1v1 characters going up against characters with several AoE covering abilities, and it hasn't been working out for them. Obviously, Game is Hard, when they picked the Rubik, they were banking on stealing these abilities, but Rubik got shut down really hard. He's had a very bad beginning, and he hasn't been able to really be effective during these team fights in the way his team needs him to be. With that said, though, they still have a chance. Rubik has his ultimate now. If they could just get one team fight, this game has not gone out of control yet. If they can get one team fight where they get everything in their favor, then things might work out for them. We shall see, of course. Hopefully, Storm Spirit is back in. He's on a new PC, and hopefully this one holds together a little better than the last. Excuse me. I'm not used to casting so many games in a row. Looks like everyone's good to go on the Dire side. We're just waiting from the all clear from the Radiant, and judging by that, we are going to go. So here we go. Continuing Game 3 of Game is Hard versus Ayesee Slater. 6-2 for the Dire currently. We have several of them waiting back here. Do we have a Dusk? Yes, we have a Dusk. A Smoke. I always call them the wrong thing. And you can see what they literally just drew. This will be their path that they walk. There are no sentry wards. There are no wards, period, up for the Radiant. So they likely have no idea this is happening. Sand King, you are in a bad spot, my friend. Sand King gets hexed. Sand King gets shackled. The Viper ultimate hits. He just gets shredded. And it does not even look like his team's coming to support. They're just going to let that one go. They don't want to initiate, the Radiant does not want to initiate anything on the Dire's terms. So they're just going to let the Sand King go. It looks like they're going to have to come bottom, though. They're going to follow through on that kill with now a push down onto this tier 2. You can see the Radiant pinging out the tower to be defended. And we will... that is true, Face. That is true. You bring up a very good point. Sentries do not reveal. The tower is going to probably go down here. They commit the snakes. The snakes are not... Are they shooting the tower? They are shooting the tower. These ones just... They're like pointing... They're pointing in a very odd direction. They pulled the creeps past, but it doesn't matter. The snakes are still hitting it. Storm Spirit trying to kill some of these snakes. Juggernaut wants to just hit this tower. He wants to get this tower kill. It looks like they're going to clean this up. They actually fend this off. The tower will not fall. Took a bunch of damage. Well, there we go. There's some definitive information from Kuro. Sentries do let you see the invisible units. It just does not ping them on the map. I, unfortunately, do not get active with the smokes so often, so I do not know that off the top of my head. Again, I appreciate everyone tossing out some advice in the chat. I am no professional caster. I'm just trying to do my best that I can. So if you have any tips, I do try to check the chat as often as I can for anything I may have missed, like the smoke and sentry information. We are still duking this out bottom. They want to get this tower before it becomes deniable. And we do have all the ultimates, aside from snakes, available for the Dire, and every ultimate is available for the Radiant. So if this goes down, it will be a good fight. Hopefully this will go down sometime soon and not just a push back and forth with some creeps. They might be buying time until snakes are ready again. At this point, that is probably the truth. 10, 9, 8, 7. Until we get to see the snakes get dropped. If snakes get dropped again, that surely will be the tower death. And I have to imagine if snakes get dropped again... There we go. Crispy dropping the official knowledge. I figured he would chime in eventually. Thank you very much, Crispy. On what sentries can and cannot detect in relation to the smokes. And there we go. We are going to hit the tower finally. They are not going to bother with the snakes, and there's the epicenter. The epicenter actually takes out Shaman right away. The vacuum gets some of them pulled in. We saw the Warlock ultimate drop as well. Wraith King goes down. Game is Hard just got shredded during all that. Unfortunately, the initiation was solid, but they just don't have the damage. They don't have the team fight, is what this comes down to. They had the great initiate from the Sand King with the epicenter. They got the Shadow Shaman. I'm not even sure if Rubik was able to steal anything. I didn't see... What the crap? Why did you do that, Twitch? I don't know what just happened there. I hope the stream is back up. But the team fight just was not there, unfortunately. They had the great initiate. They tried to follow through, but the Warlock ulti, he just dropped the hammer. The demons came out. Enigma did his thing. Viper's right clicks are Viper's right clicks. I don't need to tell you how strong Viper's right clicks are at this point. And then, of course, Juggernaut used his Omni Slash, and bad things happen. Now, we might see a counterattack here. Store Spirit comes in. Wraith King comes in. Warlock is getting beat up on by a couple people. Juggernaut's being chased. He gets vacuumed back a little bit. He gets Burrow Strike. There goes the Juggernaut. Warlock also goes down. They eventually are able to clean up bottom, but at the cost of a team fight and another subsequent tower. That is 2 towers down bottom lane. Racks are exposed and a little bit damaged. However, the melee Racks will try to slowly heal itself up to 1500. We also see a bit of damage coming up from top lane as Shadow Shaman comes up here after respawning and just drops the snakes. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get the tower. The snakes end up not dealing a whole lot of damage. And I don't think Sand King realized, I don't think snakes are susceptible to sandstorm damage. Whew, just taking a bit of a breather. Anyways, carrying on. We do have an Invis rune up here. The Dire Ward about to run out. We have Enigma back in the jungle just trying to do his Enigma things, trying to get a little bit of farm. Do we have a smoke coming out here? We do not have a smoke. We do have Darkseer picking up that Invis rune though. And Enigma and the rest of his team actually just kind of doing their thing. Looks like they might be coming into a position in the top lane here to try to push it through. Mid tower is lower, but they might be opting for this top lane push. The reason my mouse is very finicky, for those wondering why the camera is a little jumpy, my mouse is very finicky, so I have to use my keyboard to move the improve for the future, along with a few other things. Don't worry, guys. This will get better with time. This is only day 1 of the Rektreational. We have plenty of days ahead of us as we go through these games. We will have another team fight, though, coming up top. Enigma just got Black Hole, so all ultimates are ready except for Wraith King, who has 60 seconds on his, so he cannot resurrect. He will go down permanently. There's the epicenter, though. Forget the Wraith King. There's the epicenter. There's the Juggernaut ulti. Uses it on Storm Spirit, but then it shifts over to Wraith King as Storm Spirit zips away. Sand King goes down. I mean, we're just seeing them get picked apart. It's happening again and again. They have initiation with the Sand King and the Wraith King, but there's nothing to follow it up. And unfortunately, that is the tier 2 top lane. It may very well be the tier 3 as well, as the demon is still alive. There are some creeps now, as well as Eidolons. Some more creeps coming, Juggernaut and Viper. Viper in a risky position with his low health, however, they just want to ensure this tower goes down. Sand King is now up, Darkseer is alive as well, but they can't really do a whole lot. Gonna get some damage done to these barracks. They probably can get at least the range barracks down. Wraith King now up as well. They're pushing their luck by staying much longer than this. The demon's gonna stick around, gonna smack the barracks a few more times. We saw the Wraith King blink in. Looks like he's not gonna get much done. Enigma tries TPing out. He gets lifted up by the Rubik, and he gets something. He only gets Midnight Pulse. And there's the Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit actually is gonna be able to mop up the Enigma. They are able to get 1 kill out of that, but unfortunately, again, tier 2 goes down. Tier 3 goes down, and a team fight was lost during all that. They might be able to get mid-tower. It looks like Dire is going to try to come to defend this, but the tower is at such low health, it will not really be worth it. The tower will go down. And are they going to follow it up? No, they're not. They're just going to let it go. They're going to go back bottom by the looks of it. Probably get a couple of these guys in the jungle to make up some gold. Looks like actually they might rotate bottom. What is the bottom tower at? It's below half, so it looks like they're just going to try to get this tower. And they're just trying to get some gold in their belt. You can see the graph spiking up a bit as they got that one kill and that tower gold for their team. But I don't think I need to tell you that this is a dire situation, as they are almost 14,000 gold behind. And XP earned isn't quite as bad. We've seen a few spikes, but it's still 7,500 plus XP in favor of the Dire as well. Top tower does go down to Storm Spirit, who's just kind of pushing by himself. Storm Spirit is a tricky character to lock down, so going on him by himself, it might not be the best call, and likely why they haven't done so. It looks like we have a 5-strong push coming bottom. This could be a Rax push. This could be a Rax push coming out of this. We will see Storm Spirit is trying to do as much damage as he can top lane, trying to just get any gold he can. However, his team is pinging out that he is needed bottom. And here we go. This could be the final push. 17-6 for the Dire, or 17-6. Wow. Math and English is hard on that. 7-16 for the Dire as they come into this fight. Again, the game is hard. The Radiant team, they have the Initiate available. They have the Sand King, the Storm Spirit, the Wraith King, but there's been no solid follow-up. The Initiates go off, and then they just kind of fall apart as Warlock's ulti comes in, as Enigma comes in, as Juggernaut does his Omni Slash thing. So we'll have to see how this goes. If Rubik can steal a game-changing ability when this fight goes down, we can see they're just kind of buying time. They want to make sure this is the exact right position, because when you're in a strong position like this, the last thing you want to do is accidentally throw a team fight. So they're making sure they're... And Wraith King's not going to wait. Wraith King TP's in. He gets the stun off. They're trying to eliminate Enigma from the equation instantly. Warlock drops his ulti. I see Juggernaut jumping around. Wraith King goes down. Rubik is instantly eliminated from the fight. So we are going to probably see the same thing again. Without Rubik here to turn this fight for them, we see the stun go out. Sand King now falls. Wraith King buys back in. They do not want to give this up. The one Rax, the ranged Rax, is down, but there are only 3 Radiant alive, and all 5 of the Dire are. Does Enigma have a way to get down here? He does not. He will have to walk. He has his boots of travel, but they're on cooldown. Is in fact not even going to bother. He's going to push back middle. They are actually going to pull back for now. They're not going to risk any extra aggression. They got the Rax. They won a second team, or a third team fight, I think it is. They're going to pull back for now. Probably the safe choice. They could have pushed maybe a little harder if they had wanted to, but greed kills in Dota, so the wise choice is to fall back, and they are going to take the Roche on the back of that team fight. This isn't probably going to be a very quick Roche. We have the Juggernaut here. We have the Viper here. And might I add, I mean, this Viper has his Ognims. He looks like he's going into a Heart of Taras. Juggernaut has the Deso, has the Ognims. They are picking out that the enemy is nearby. However, the enemy did not appear, and by the enemy, I mean the Radiant, does not appear to have known what was happening, and they are able to get the Aegis and just get out. Whew. What an intense game. The Radiant are doing their absolute best to hold on, but each of these team fights knocks them a little farther behind. That was possibly the worst grammar I may have done so far this game, but the point is, every team fight, the Radiant has fallen behind a little more, and a little more, and they're at the point where returning from this deficit is going to be very difficult. They need Just an absolutely large stroke of luck. They need Rubik to not get picked off, but Juggernaut's sole purpose every team fight has been to go after Rubik. I feel in my Dota hearts the pain that this Rubik must feel, as every team fight has been Juggernaut specifically finding him and killing him. We have a smoke coming off. Did they just... We have a smoke gank into a smoke gank that resulted in nothing but the two teams switching sides. That was very interesting. So the two teams actually just switched sides on the map, and now the Dire are over here. They're gonna get the tower, but now the Radiant are in a position where they could pincer them. The tower goes down, Sand King comes in, Wraith King comes in, Epicenter's going off, but it's not doing anything. The Epicenter doesn't do anything here. Wraith King goes down, his ulti goes off, it comes back up. You guys can see Juggernaut jumping around in there. Warlock's ulti has been dropped. Enigma's actually gone down. This fight isn't as one-sided as it might have been. This Wraith King just is not giving up. He took out quite a few people, and a very good vacuum wall also caused a lot of chaos and illusions to spawn out of that, and that stroke of luck that I was just talking about may have just happened as a team fight finally goes in the Radiant's favor. They aren't able to mop up Juggernaut quite yet, and he might get away with the spin. A spin into the TP. They're doing their absolute best, but they cannot stop it. And finally a team fight goes in their favor, but just barely. By the skin of Wraith King's skeletal teeth was he able to turn that around. Unfortunately, he was one of the only ones to reap the rewards of that, as half of his team was down, but they do win the team fight. They're able to clean it up. They will push bottom. However, that was at the loss of that tier 2 mid, so now all tier 2s are down for the Radiant, and they have lost bottom racks. They've lost the tier 3 top. They're still in a very tricky situation. Let's not underplay that fact that they're in a tricky situation, but if they can do a couple more team fights where they can pull that off, where Wraith King can just tank so much damage, then come back alive and start wailing on the the Dire, then they might be able to do this. We will have to wait and see. It looks like he's going for a BKB, which will help out against that Warlock and the Enigma quite a bit. And it'll come down to the next team fight. The next team fight could be the deciding team fight as we get later and later into this match, and each of these team fights becomes more and more important. We see a push coming out from the Juggernaut and a couple others top lane. Will they follow through with it? I'm not. Might I add, has a ton of health, has his augment, and has a quarterstaff, so could he be building for the butterfly? A butterfly and a heart on a Viper. That's just not a combination of items I want to fight against. We do see them finally moving into position. All 5 top for the Dire, 4 for the Radiant. Storm Spirit coming into position. This is a bad time for hiccups. Body, do not do that thing for me, please. We do have a smoke come out. It looks like they wanted to get the jump on them. However, there is no one to jump on as they are pulled back quite a ways. And Storm Spirit is not there, so if they initiated without Storm Spirit right now, that would be a very dangerous initiate. It would be a 4v5, and right now they need to be 5 stacked as often as they can. We do see a ping come out from the Storm Spirit. He's just kind of cleaning up bottom, taking just a phenomenal amount of damage. Wow. Risking his health a little closer than honestly I would. But he will go back to the fountain. Top lane is getting closer and closer to their base. This is about to be a throwdown here. This could be the deciding fight. One lane of racks gone is manageable, but losing a second lane really, really puts you on the back foot. We see them doing their best. They're actually pulling the creeps off the racks, but it doesn't matter. Viper's here. There goes the range. They're actually going to commit the snakes to it. Sand King goes in. Epicenter, but he instantly changes his mind. He instantly tries to get out. It doesn't matter. Black Hole. Black Hole hits several of them. The Warlock ulti is up the whole time. Juggernaut is jumping around. I can hear him, but I can't see him. And they just get melted. Back up, but he has no support. He goes down. That could be GG right there, as Rubik and Darkseer try to get away. Rubik able to steal the healing ward. Not the game-changing ability, and we could see, actually, I didn't notice this had happened, but Warlock had actually got... So during that team fight, there is actually 2 chaotic offerings, 4 demons. Even if the chaotic offering doesn't stun you, having to deal with 4 of these demons is very, very... It's very bad. And there's the GG, guys. That is it. The series is done. Ayesee, Slater, the Dire team comes out on top 2-1, and they will win this first round for themselves. I thank you all for watching. There will be one more game tonight, starting at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern on the Rektreational 1 Twitch channel. Make sure to tune in for that. I thank you all for watching this, though, and we will see you all next time.